What's up, guys? It's time we finally talk about King Kong on the channel. Because of the upcoming new monsterverse film, Godzilla Kong New Empire, new monsterverse news, we're getting some new Godzilla and Kong films. And let me just make a disclaimer real quick. I will be reviewing all the Kong movies. King Kong. We'll do Godzilla for one whole month. We'll do that sometime in the future. But right now, let's focus on all the King Kong movies. Let's review them. And I do want to say, King Kong versus Godzilla is really a part of the Godzilla franchise, which is the third movie in that. So I'll be saving that film until we review the Godzilla films. Is that clear? So yeah, King Kong versus Godzilla, the original, will not be reviewed during this, but it will be reviewed when we do the Godzilla films. So yeah, but first we're going to be talking about the classic, the masterpiece, one of the greatest films of all time, hands down, one of the most groundbreaking films, King Kong from 1933. King Kong seems to be one of the most well-known horror villains or icons, whatever, of cinema history, and there's a reason for that. The story, the atmosphere, the just quotes, the memorable lines, it's been remade many times now. King Kong is a legend. But the specific original film from 1933 was groundbreaking because it had music, it had amazing special effects, stop motion animation, well directed, well acted. Everything about this movie is perfect. 1933 was also the release of The Invisible Man, so it was a pretty remarkable year for special effects, especially in the horror genre. And I'm sure you all know the basic brief summary of the movie. So basically, a film crew goes out to this weird, mysterious island called Skull Island, and they run across giant different monsters, insects, animals across the island with angry islanders who don't want them there, but of course King Kong is there, who's like the protector of everything. He's sacred, he's King Kong. And of course Carl Denham, who is played by Robert Armstrong and who's starred with Fay Wray, who do both an amazing job, decides it's a good idea to let's capture this giant ape, bring him back to New York City, and make him King Kong, the eighth wonder of the world. When King Kong is brought back to New York City, he is put on display for hundreds of people to go and see him because it's a huge deal to see a giant ape. I mean, back in a rural area that you are familiar with, and when it breaks loose, it's one of the coolest parts in horror history, movie history. King Kong on the loose is awesome. He's destroying the city, picking people up, stomping on them. He's putting them in their mouth. He does that while on the island as well. King Kong is a menace. But there is a love interest in the film for Fay Wray, who King Kong falls in love with and learns sympathy with for the human. And of course, this leads to the climax of the film where King Kong climbs up the Empire State Building while holding Fay Wray in his hand, with airplanes shooting at him, doing everything. It's one of the most tragic but well put together endings in cinema history, let alone horror, with one of the most quotable quotes ever in film history as well. It was beauty killed the beast. And I do want to put the spotlight on Willis O'Brien for a second, who did all the stop motion animation with some help, but he was the main person who inspired many others like Ray Harryhausen and tons of other future filmmakers. This film, everybody talks about this film. Shout out to Willis O'Brien for creating and making Kong come to life. King Kong is one of the best films of all time in my opinion, and let alone horror, especially from this decade. Go check it out. It is an amazing, awesome horror, fantasy, action, adventure. It's love story even. It's amazing. Go check it out if you haven't seen it, especially the original. If you watch any of these, the original is where it's at. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for the support that you have shown me here recently, and it really does mean a lot. But let's talk about the next King Kong in the next video, so I'll catch you there. Peace.